beautiful beings of light. Welcome to the Crone Zone. I'm Priscilla, my buddy Heather, and tonight's special guest, Terri Suzuki. Going to entertain us with Terri's Tales tonight. So that I'm really excited about that. That's always so much fun. And from what I heard from a little bird before was there's going to be mermaids involved. Woohoo! So, hey, Viviani. Hi, Craig Dixon. How are you guys? Lauren Huntsinger, my fellow dragon. How are you doing? Akila's here. Fantastic. Lovely to see you all. And you both are streaming, right? Yeah, that's good. Fantastic. And hi, Sensei Jean. I know you're lurking back there. She was on earlier. If you didn't get a chance, we had a great conversation. Go back and watch if you can, because it was interesting. But now we have Miss Terri, and if you want a reading with Terri, all her details are in the description of this video. So go there. I highly recommend it. In fact, I think I have a reading with Terri this coming week. So
this coming week, yeah.
It's kind of a regular thing, so I highly recommend anybody that's looking for a reading or a wonderful journey. She's fabulous with journeys too. So I haven't really decided what I want to do next week, but I figure we'll know when I get there. We'll figure it out. So hi, Imelda. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, great. Thank you, Imelda. She said she went over to Kigaru and thumbed up and then came here. Thank you so much. Thumbs up all three channels, please. Wherever you may be.
No, 3, 5, 3, whatever it was.
Anyway, I am going to turn it over to Terri because let's see. Oh, that didn't work. How about this one? That works. But I like it the other way. Wait a minute.
Exactly.
I can get it to do the other way. It wants to give me that.
You could just drag me in there.
Yeah, but I wanted us on the other side, but it won't let me.
Okay.
Okay. This is perfect.
Okay. Well.
Hey, Garnet.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me and letting me tell my tales of all the unusual things I get to do spiritually.
I love your tales.
Yeah.
And I see lots of people we know there. Viviani, Diane
Garnet,
G.
Diane G. Diane G, I hope you got my message earlier about needing your phone number for Canada. She won some cards the other night, and I tried to mail them today. And they were like, we need a phone number. I said, well, I'll give you mine. No, that won't do. Need a number in Canada.
And Craig Dixon. Yay.
Hey, Craig.
Well, ladies, I have been going to as many fairs as I can before I go back to Japan for about a month. So I've been hitting little ones, big ones, all sorts of levels. Because
good. That means you have all kinds of stories for us.
Yes. So
thank you, Diane.
Yeah, I was really worried that as I was kind of planning this, that maybe it was all Akashic or all psychic medium, but it's a mix of things. And then I even have some miscellaneous things that happened that maybe you guys can help me figure out what exactly happened.
Well, if we can't, the chat probably can help too, because they are really good at that.
Yeah. So my first story was one that kind of shook the foundations of my beliefs a little bit.
Really?
Yes, because
you've been doing this a while. I'm surprised that you I would have thought you unshakable, so to speak.
Well, I'm not unshakable because I don't know everything. I'm not.
Of course, none of us do.
Yeah. So my beliefs would have been that if you seek me out to read for you, you probably are in a very spiritual mode and seeking yourself. And most likely your loved ones on the other side went over and are just absolutely fine over there. I do know some people get hung up. They become a ghost for a while. And my mom was for about 40 days.
Really?
And yeah. She bugged a lot of people.
I want to know more about that story at another time.
Okay, we can talk about that another time.
Too.
But so this was a time. So generally, if I'm reading somebody at a fair, I'm going to go into a good situation. It's going to be fine. And I realized that part of my ideas were not. I mean, I know that people sometimes don't quite get all the way over there, or they get stuck. I mean, I know that
Yeah.
sorta. Anyway, so this young lady sat down at my booth. She was just gorgeous. And she said, I really want to talk to my mother. Could you please go get my mother? And I want her to talk to her and ask some questions. And so I got her mother's name. So when you sat down with me at a booth, I want the name and the relationship. That's all I need. And then I will go find them. I do it that way because there's so many people there with loved ones following them around, wanting to be heard from.
Sure, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, just two. I don't want to have to sort through them or read the wrong person or whatever.
Right.
So I go get them. So I found her mother. I got her mother right away, but my mom didn't come to me. I kind of had to go to her. And I went to what I would say. Now I'm pretty sure that I wasn't really there because I think I'd have to be dead, but I went to the halls of heaven.
The halls of heaven.
I found her in the hall, in up against the wall, just flat against the wall, flat against the wall, eyes darting everywhere. I'm like, hi, mom, hi. Your daughter's here to talk to you. And she's not even looking at me. And she just looks like she's trying to blend in with the wallpaper.
Wow.
She's just absolutely stiff as a board, hands flat against the wall, down by her sides, just like she's trying to blend in, like nobody.
So nobody will see her. Oh, wow. I've
And
never
I'm
heard
like,
that.
I don't know, I'm just kind of like, well, that's really weird. That's odd. And so I said, uh, Mom, your daughter's here, and she'd really like to talk to you. And she said, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not. She just kept repeating, I'm not worthy. And I'm like, well, hang on. You really are. You are worthy, and your daughter would really like to talk to you. And she said, oh, I tried to protect her so much. I tried so hard, and I failed. I just failed miserably. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so, and she kind of would quit talking and then kind of resume the I'm not worthy. And I'm like, okay.
Wow. That is
I'm
so
like,
sad.
I know. I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? And then as she started to talk a little bit more to when she said, I tried to protect her and stuff. The other thing is that her general area where she was suddenly turned into a lace pattern. It was all black lace. It was kind of on the wall behind her and down by her feet. And it was all black. And I'm like, okay, well, that's really interesting. So I'm like, hang on a minute, Mom, and took a pause there. And I asked the girl, I said, how long ago did your mom die? Because I thought maybe this is a newbie. Maybe she's so brand new, she doesn't know where she's at.
She doesn't know what she's doing. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, 15 years. She's been gone 15 years. And I'm like, okay, Terri, they don't have the same kind of time that we have over there. So maybe it's only been 5 minutes for her
Yeah.
in the hall, blending in with the wallpaper. So I'm like, okay, Mom, you know, something's a little off here. And I have a feeling you don't really know where you're at. So everybody has angels. Everybody, and I know that everybody at least has two angels, if not more, one you're born with, one you die with. And so I said, angels, please come in and please give her some energy. So what I saw them both put their hands like this on each other's hands, making like a bridge across her.
Right.
And looked very, and then they came in and they put the energy in And I was kind of like, oh, now how long does this happen? I don't know how things are going to go here because this has never happened before. But I soon saw that as the angels were putting the energy in, the lace turned red. So I figured when the lace turned red, they were done.
Right.
So they kind of pulled away, and then I started to talk to her, Mom, what do you want to say to your daughter? And she's talked about, oh, it was so fast. It was so fast, so unexpected. I didn't know I was going to die that day. Uh, she said, I tried so hard to protect them. My whole mission and on that day was to go and do something that would protect my daughter forever and would provide protection. But so she was very caring. She was very apologetic. Like, I just don't quite understand how this all happened. She talked about love. She talked about forgiveness. She, she started to warm up a little bit, and so she could talk. And I'm like, oh, that's lovely. And then she talked about her grandchildren too, which I didn't even know if the girl had grandchildren, but she did. And the mother talked about the grandchildren, how that they are all, how proud she is and how that she now can kind of see them and stuff. And so it was a nice reading. It, but it wasn't very much. She didn't really get to say very much. And then as I was talking to her, suddenly she looked around and she was like, oh, and now I didn't see a wall behind her. I didn't see the wall with the wallpaper. I saw all of her ancestors, all of the people who
Oh, thank
predeceased her.
goodness. I'm so
And
glad for her.
she could look back and she's like, oh my God, where have you been all this time? Not how
Wow.
come I couldn't see you all this time? But I'm
Oh,
like,
I'm so
oh,
glad for her, though. Yay.
I know.
That
So
is really sad.
it is. I'm kind of like, okay, Mom, I'm so, happy to get to have talked to you and you can talk more to your daughter sometime and everything. And we were done. The daughter, so this was the first time she ever sat down to get a reading, ever.
Wow.
So she didn't have any expectations, thankfully, because it didn't feel like she got very much of a message so much, but she got to see me, you know, help kind of take care of her mom. And so after we were done, I got to ask questions like, what brought this about? What was she talking about?
Right.
Okay. The day that mom died, she was driving to go tell her husband she wanted a divorce. That husband just beat the snot out of her all of her life and told her she wasn't worthy, told her she wasn't worth anything, told
Oh,
her that he was going to hurt the kids, things like that. And as she was on her way to tell him, she got in a wreck and a truck slammed into her and killed her instantly.
good Lord.
Yeah. And so it all kind of made sense. And
Yeah, it does
that,
make sense.
I think that, mom got some healing out of that and maybe
I was
daughter
gonna
got
say
some
maybe the
healing.
reading was for mom and not for the girl is what I was getting, kinda.
I almost wonder that too.
It seems
That
like that's what it was. You were there to heal the mom, and the girl was almost incidental.
Yeah, I was
Strange.
so it went well. She was very pleased with the reading because she didn't know any better, you
Yeah,
know, but she
exactly.
might get a better message. I think next time she wants to talk to her mom, she'll get a better message. And of
Well,
course, I
you
gave
don't
her,
even know what to ask the first time you go for a reading. You're
yeah,
like, I don't know what," you know?
yeah. So mom will be able to communicate really well next
Yeah.
time. So
Oh, that's
that
beautiful.
was fun.
That's
There was a little aside after that. I was at the fair that I was at. I wasn't getting very many readings. I only got 3 the entire day, and this was one of them. And I went over the hallway. The other vendor on the other side had wanted to talk to me for a moment. But as I was crossing back over the hallway, back to my own booth, it's always funny. My guides are Johnny on the spot to talk to me if I'm grousing and upset. But if
Right.
I'm perfectly happy, they're not so Johnny on the spot. But as I was crossing the aisle, I was like, why do you always give me the weird ones? And they said, they said, because we know you won't try to pretty it up. You won't tell us to show us something different. You won't panic. They said, you'll just get in there and rummage around until you figure it out.
Curiosity. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
That I think I said thanks, kind of, you know,
I think.
I think.
I think.
Yeah. Hey, Beltane, your cards are on their way. I sent them today. There was somebody in the chat. Hang on just a minute, ladies. There was somebody else in the chat that won cards, and I haven't gotten their email from them yet. Denise Lynn 67. Please, please, please email me at twistedsisterskw@gmail, or it's in the description of this video, so that I can send you your card, the oracle cards you won the other night. Anyway, so thank you.
Oh. Hey, I noticed that Leah.
Yeah,
said,
I was gonna.
"Cool."
Yes, she was in shock, and because she was scared from abuse, she was hiding. Yeah, exactly. That is
She's
just a
trying to
sad
be
thing.
invisible.
Trying to
Yeah,
be invisible so she didn't get hurt. I'm not worried. Oh my God, that is a sad story.
it is
You
sad.
were
But it's,
definitely there to heal.
yeah,
You were there
that
for
was
her, and the daughter was there because she was being told to send you.
right. I think it was all meant to be.
Absolutely.
Yes,
All
it
spirit
was.
led for
Yeah,
sure. That's a beautiful story in the end.
Yeah.
Thanks.
but it was surprising to me. So the next one is I named the Blue Path, even though it could just be and Mermaids too. So
Ooh.
so I was at a different fair, and this one was an Akashic record reading instead.
My
And
favorite.
the lady who sat down with me, her husband was in the military, and he had done, I mean, like the whole ride, and they're in their mid years, and he's
Mhm.
about ready to retire, and she kind of wants to know if they should move or stay local, and a little bit about her business. Now, my guides love giving business advice. They
Really?
just love it. Yeah, that seems to work out really well. So basically, I went into the Akashic Records, and I greet my team. I have them introduce me to your team. Her team was a really beautiful, beautiful team, and it looked to me like it was full of like monks or Buddhist monks or something. They
Hmm.
all had something to do with prayer and spirituality, and so that was really interesting.
Hmm.
Now I do know that they're just big balls of light and energy, but they drape them in something so I can get an idea of what are we doing here? What's going on? What do you do for them?
I just get the big balls of energy. I don't get them draped. I
Yeah.
just see the balls of energy.
I
Oh,
just get the
yeah. Once in a while I get them as energy, but generally they drape it
That's
themselves
cool.
in something for me. Maybe it's just to entertain me. I don't know. So that that those monks suddenly turned my whole vision blue. I'm just looking in blue. Everything has a blue tinge to it.
Cool.
And we don't do what we normally do, which is look at the path of your life, the flow of your life. They didn't do that. They immediately took this vision, put her in the blue, and it looked like she was standing in this blue stage and that she was there to heal, to do some healing or something. And
Hmm.
then they just showed me that, and it looked like it was now. And then they suddenly whipped me to another life And in this life, it was probably quite a long time ago, she was the lone being on a blue planet. She
Whoa.
was the only person, soul, because
Entity.
entity on the planet. And all she did on this planet was pray. She just stood in prayer for I don't know how many years. That was what her job was. I couldn't quite tell, was she praying to hold up a civilization in the past, the present, the future? Not the present, because there's nobody else on this planet but her. But whatever
Wow.
she was doing, it was a big job, and she was, chanting and praying and just doing her job there.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And then they suddenly went back to another blue area. But in this case, it was a little different. It looked like maybe something here now. And the walls are painted blue, and there's lots of like plants painted into it too. And it looks like a really healing space.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of felt like a sacred space, but maybe the sacred was from the other planet. Maybe
Right.
I pulled some of that over. I don't know. And I'm just like, wow, it feels so good to be here. And and so then they showed me more, and basically she finally stopped me and she said, Terri, that's my healing studio in a
Wow.
nearby town, nearby from here. I converted the garage into a healing yoga studio, and I painted it all blue with
I
those,
love it.
with those flowers on it. By you telling me this, by what I'm hearing, by how they're leading us through it, I know the answer. I'm supposed to stay and open my yoga studio and open it to all sorts of things. She said, as I was talking, they just gave her more downloads, like you can do this and that and add this kind of service, and that you're here to heal people. Go ahead and heal. So wow. It
Wow.
was, yeah. So
Wow.
that one was just really amazing, that suddenly the whole thing was all about the healing and all about that blue. Oh, and I'm wrong. That's not the one with the mermaid. Sorry, guys. No mermaid in this one.
Okay.
So that one was really, really good. Okay, so now I got the mermaid one. Now I got it. Okay, so a woman who had never been read before sat down in my booth, and she wanted to be read. And she wanted an Akashic reading, but she didn't really have too much of a purpose. She was just really curious. So I started to read her, and I looked at her team, and it was a really cool team. They're all cool. But the thing that stood out is there was a mermaid on her team. I
I
never
love
seen
it.
a mermaid on a team. So that was kind of cool. So I
That's
just
very
did it.
cool.
I told her about her team and told her about the mermaid being there.
Was
And
she into mermaids at all?
a little bit, yeah.
Just
But
a little
Okay,
bit.
that makes sense.
she
Yeah.
liked them quite a bit. So I did the reading. We asked her Akashic records about whatever she wanted to be read on. I don't even remember what that was. But at the end, as she's sitting in my booth, I am just suddenly hit by this wave of energy off of her. This is really intense energy, very, very powerful. And I realize it's mermaid energy. It's not just that this woman has a mermaid on her team. They are now telling me she's part of the mermaid clan. She is part mermaid herself.
Wow.
And the energy is just, I mean, I almost can't stand up. I almost kind of can't function at this point. It's
Wow.
really,
Wow.
really intense. And so I'm like, guys, what do I tell her here? I mean, do I tell her about this? she's just starting out spiritually. Is she even going to understand anything I say? And they said, what they told me to tell her is, don't tell her she's a mermaid. We'll tell her that later. It's not quite time for that. That she's like a hybrid mermaid or something like that. They said, tell her that we will let her know that we're with her all the time by bringing mermaids to her. So like Little Mermaid pictures, Little Mermaid, things.
Whenever she sees a mermaid, that's them.
They're talking to
Anytime
her.
she sees a mermaid, she needs to remember her team. So
Wow. That's pretty
wow.
special. Was that a mermaid from here or a mermaid from somewhere else?
I didn't ask that because I didn't know they could be from somewhere else. Because I noticed Diane G says, wow, are they Syrian mermaids? I don't know. And I had
There's mermaids. Wasn't it Mars that the mermaid came from that
Yes.
I channeled that night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She lived in Mars.
Within Mars.
Yeah. And Diane G just said they're
Syrian
ones. Wow.
Yeah, there are many different, and I don't think, for the most part, nobody really knows where the mermaids are in Mars. Some don't even realize they are there. But this mermaid said she was from Mars and described what that was
at least what she told us anyway. But she did describe where she came from. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. And that does sound interesting. Yeah, I actually didn't ask her anything more about it because, first of all, she's a newbie.
Brand new. Yeah.
Spiritually.
Sure.
But also, I was really overcome with that energy.
That energy.
It was such a deep knowing. I mean, I knew, nobody at that time could have said, oh, you're crazy, Terri. You don't know what you're doing. No, I knew it. She was of the mermaid clan. That's what they said. Of the mermaid
clan. That's very interesting.
And I'm like,
you do get the most interesting clients.
I know.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. So
keep it up. Keep that energy going. Yeah. I love
Write
it.
a book.
Yeah, definitely write a book.
So I write all these things down because I do want to do something like that someday.
Well, you've written other documents. You just switch it over to a book. This you're writing for yourself this time.
Well, we'd have to organize them. There's so many different.
You have to organize anything.
Yeah.
You have to organize rebuilding your house. You have to organize the plumbing. You have to organize the stairs.
Yeah.
The easiest thing would be to organize it by years. What happened during what years?
Yeah. Good.
Good.
I thought we'd take a pause right now.
Okay.
And talk about the miscellaneous. The miscellaneous. So if everybody wants to get their spiritual working hats on.
Okay. She has questions for the chat as well as Heather and I on some of this miscellaneous stuff that has come up and why it might be coming up. So if you guys have any inclination, all caps and emojis, please, so we can read it.
Yeah.
All right. Does Terri speak or read in Japanese? I think she does.
Yep, I do. So not a lot, but a little bit. I used to
more all the time, doesn't it?
I don't read now. I used to be able to read.
Yeah.
Okay. The miscellaneous. So that very same fair, the same fair where I read the Mermaid Lady, I was standing in my booth and they had given me an 8-foot table, which is longer than
they're usually 5 foot.
Yeah, I usually only buy a 4-foot. So, yeah, so I usually have a 6x6 booth. In this case, it was an 8-foot, so it's really the booth was really like 10x6.
Yeah.
And so I was just standing there, and I was talking to my neighbor, and I went over, and I hit something. I bumped into something. It felt like the corner of a wall was right there, like a drywall wall. I just bumped my left shoulder into a wall. And I'm like, hey, there's no wall around here. And then
Okay.
I tried to bump it again. I couldn't. Yeah, I
But
don't
you
know.
felt it the first time.
I felt it. And I'm like, what is that? Any
Any
ideas?
ideas out there? What could that have been?
Yeah.
What happened after that?
Well, about an hour later, I was standing in the booth trying to attract people over there, and I went the other direction and bumped into a person, somebody.
You're not gonna believe what I'm seeing. It's like you bumped the inside legs of an angel standing over you. Like, you
Oh,
hit it on one side, and then you hit it on the other side, and because their bloody legs are so big, it felt like a pillar.
that sounds reasonable. Well, remember
That's what I'm getting.
the right side felt very more squishy and potentially, I don't want to say human, but
Mhm,
lifelike.
I was getting also that you were bumping into somebody.
mhm. I was definitely getting it
Yeah.
was a somebody.
But the wall one, that was really weird. Maybe it's the angel's boot. Maybe they got strong boots or something.
I don't know, but that's what I'm seeing.
All I know is that you've on the second one you hit somebody completely.
Right.
Pamela
I was
Anderson,
waiting.
she's got
They were
somebody.
waiting for somebody. They were hoping somebody would come so that they could talk.
Oh,
Oh.
That was not
yeah.
the one that was the wall. I'm not so sure about, but the second one, somebody's waiting there, hoping that somebody that they thought knew was coming would stop
Right.
because they're waiting to talk.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That sounds good. Neither one of them scared me. Not at all. It just
No,
was like, what was
Just
that?
interesting. Yeah.
it probably
And of
scared
course,
them more than it scared you, simply because it's oh she
Because
felt
you felt it, and
that.
they
yeah.
didn't expect you
I,
to
I
feel
was
it.
I wasn't scared, but I was like, what? Because I think if it were something not good, I think I might have felt scared, but I didn't. I was just like, what was that? You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I got the second one with somebody waiting to talk. No, I didn't get anything on the first one.
Mm, that's cool. Then I thought I'd tell you about another thing that's been happening at these fairs. So at some of the fairs, at the MeWe, the Metaphysical and Wellness fairs, they allow us to book a room and to speak. So
Mhm.
I speak for an hour to a room, and they do make me tell what's going to happen in that room. So I give it a title like Akashic
Mhm.
Record mini reads or Psychic
Right.
Medium mini reads or something like that. Well, I have noticed something as I've been reading. So about a year ago, more than a year ago, I was in Ocean Shores, Washington reading, and I was reading Akasha. I was reading this as a psychic medium, and I had read the whole. We were at the very end of the hour, and some lady just stands up in the middle of the crowd, and she says, "I know you're telling the truth. I know you're actually doing what you're saying. That there's no fakery here at all." And I'm like, "How do you know?" And she said, "Because your aura is really big and it's purple. That means truth. It's all purple. So you're telling the truth. I
Wow.
only I see auras on people, and when they're telling the truth, it's always purple." And I'm like, hmm, interesting.
All
So
right. Thank
I
you
just
very much.
noted it. I just noted it because that is interesting. Um, And then at the same one where I saw the angel, the mermaid, that same show, I booked another room and I was reading Akashic records in that room. And it was fun. We had a good time. What was interesting about it is that I got to read everybody in the room. It wasn't too big of a crowd, so I got to read everybody but one. And we're supposed to leave at 50 minutes after the hour, so that the other person has time to come into the room and set up for their speech.
Mhm.
And I saw the other class come in with the person who's going to speak. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, but time is up. I got to leave. And they had actually already been there a little while because the Akashic did a healing on somebody. So the person who should have been the last, they were getting a healing. And
Mhm.
it was pretty extensive. And they were just watching that happen. And then the teacher stood up, and I didn't know that what she was going to teach about was the Akashic records. And said, no, 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 reader, we want to watch.
Cool.
So I got to read her. So that was so much fun to do that, and then get out so they could do it.
Yeah.
What's funny is this last show I went to, we were switched where she was first and I was second. And so that was fun.
That's fun. Yeah.
But during that one, when I was just reading Akashic Records, a young woman and her girlfriend came out, and after I was done reading, and they said, we have to tell you what happened in there. And I'm like thinking, oh no, something bad happened. What? And she said, well, first I want to tell you something else. She said, for some reason, I'm seeing auras all the time. She said,
Interesting.
yesterday I went to a funeral and everybody had nearly a black aura
Wow.
because they were so sad. And I said, well, that's interesting. She said, but that was the first time I've ever seen like a room full of auras.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm
That is interesting.
completely new to this. And she said, I have to tell you about your aura. And I'm like, oh. And she said, you have a really blue aura when you're reading. Really, it's very blue, it's very thick, it stands out a long ways. And she said, but when you concentrate on one person to talk to their Akashic records, we see a portal open up and we see some blue things coming to your head. And then when you're done talking, the portal closes. And then you turn to the next person and read them, and the portal opens and sends you energy. Or
Fascinating.
sends you whatever. Yeah.
Wow.
That is
So,
cool.
It worked. I didn't know it was the portals that were opening to give us information.
well, I didn't either. But
That's fascinating.
I just,
Wow.
you're going to think this is nuts. You are the portal. You're just opening certain sections.
oh, maybe
Yeah,
that's
because we are portals. We
yeah,
are all portals.
yeah.
That's
You
true.
are the portal. You're just opening the place that you need.
To
Mm.
access their info. That makes sense. Or access the Akashic. No, their info because it would have been.
It's there because that's why she's opening a different
Yeah, that's
area.
cool.
But you are the portal.
And just one little more bit of this miscellaneous. So the last show I went to, I was doing Akashic readings the first day, and I did psychic medium mini reads the next day. And a lady followed me out, and she said, "I have never seen this before, but you were glowing green."
Wow.
So I
Man,
am
you're every color.
blue and green.
Well, and I'm pink.
What I've gotten with the colors is, okay, purple was truth to the one lady. The blue is that you go really, really calm when you're going to read. And
Serenity.
so that's the aura you put out. But when you speak from the heart, you're speaking with green.
Oh, that's beautiful, Heather.
That's cool. That's interesting.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, that's just, like I said, you're going to think I'm nuts. That's just what I got.
We don't think you're nuts.
I
We
don't
think you
you're
might
nuts.
be a psychic medium. Hello.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow,
So,
that's fascinating. How are we doing on time? Oh, we got plenty of time.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to tell you now. This story, if people wanted to hear it again, it's actually on my channel. They could go look at it. But I think I'm going to tell it because I told the first part of this on your show about, I want to say 2 years ago.
It's been a
So
while. It has
so
been a while.
the first part. So I was at a big fair up in Everett, Washington. And again, I had the 8-foot table. So, it seems like this 8-foot table is really handy.
Oh yeah, I think I
And
have a 4-foot one.
yeah, I have a 4-foot one myself, but that show I don't have to take it. I just get to use their 8-foot table. So
Right.
it's a lot of fun. An older lady sat down for a reading. And as I was tuning in and everything, she said, I have a problem. My husband is very, very ill. I have been his sole caretaker for 24/7 for quite a few years now. He
It's
had
hard
a little
work.
setback and he's now in a nursing home recovering. But I now realize from him being gone, I cannot take care of him anymore. It's going to kill me. I just cannot do it myself anymore. And I'm so tired. I'm so worn out. And he just won't listen to me. And she said, just in case you need to know, he worked so hard all of his life. He's got plenty of money. He could go to any place and be able to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Money is not an object here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. So, you know, tapped into her and he wanted to talk to her dad. Dad was super easy to get and got him. He was a good communicator, really nice message.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we were done talking with him, and I thought, well, maybe the reading's over, an
Oh
angel
no.
showed up. So for me, when angels show up with a big drop of liquid, they're holding with their fingertips a great big teardrop of liquid. And because I'm fancy, they coordinate. The color of the liquid matches the color of their robes.
I
So
love it. I love it.
and usually their robes, when they want to do the healing, have a color on them. In this case, it was a light minty green, and it had gold braid going down the front. And then they always have a hat too, like a big tricorn hat, and it's in the
Oh,
same green with the gold braid on it. And they're
right.
holding a big green drop of liquid that is shimmery and swirly. They always are a little shimmery and swirly. And I'm like, Angel, what? I stop her. I'm like, there's an angel here, and they want to do a healing. This is how I know it because of how they're dressed and the thing. And I said, let me just find out what they want to heal.
And their little eyedropper of healing liquid. I love it.
Really big. It's a big,
A
big,
big eyedropper.
big. There's no eyedropper. They're just holding the liquid.
Oh, okay.
And I said, so they said, we want to heal the husband's communication. Well,
Oh,
they
wow.
told me that they just wanted to heal communication. I assumed they were going to actually heal the husband so he could hear. And they said, in this case, because they know me, and at that time I was a little more worried about third party
Yeah.
healing, because
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't there. He's in the nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, this is not a problem. This can be done. And so they told her what they wanted to do, that they're going to put this liquid in her. She's going to hold her other hand. She's going to imagine she's holding his hand. She's going to hold it
Mm-hmm.
really firmly. Try to get all your skin to touch,
Mm-hmm.
and just think about him and like you're holding his hand. And so, and what they'll do is they'll put the liquid in and it'll be healed. And I said, and I always ask him, how long? How long does this take? And they
Mm-hmm.
said, oh, this one's right away. So in other
That,
words, they said right after she's done here, if she wants to go talk to him in the nursing home, everything will be fine. They will be able to talk.
wow.
And as you know, because you've heard many of my stories, a lot of times it takes time. A lot of times, especially when we're working with love, they don't want to heal love really fast because you might walk through the fair and meet a jerk in the lobby and take him home. So,
I love that.
so they're
That
like,
sounds like me.
so they always tell me how long is this going to take?
Right.
So, anyway, so we did it, and the liquid went in, and I said goodbye, and she went on her way. So that happened.
I remember that story about the
Yeah.
liquid, and I found it so interesting that she could hold her other hand, imagine it being him, and he's healed.
Right. And in my head, I could see as she was holding, it really looked to me like she was holding his hand. I
Love
could see
that.
his bed. I could see
Yeah,
everything.
that's beautiful.
Um,
But
but
I was
the
going to
rest
say,
of the story happened because at the last fair at that same place up in Everett, the Angels of the Winds arena,
Mhm.
she came back.
I love
Came
it.
back and got a reading, and I got to hear the rest of the story.
Oh, good.
So by this time,
You guys don't know. We never hear back from people that we've read
no,
for, and when we get somebody to come back and validate what we've done, it's everything.
yeah,
yes, because in our heads we got an imagination of what happened. We
Yeah,
think we know. And so this was actually a super good thing because it really disabused me of some of that too.
yeah.
Uh, so when she sat down to for the reading, I didn't remember her at first. She sat down and then I just stared at her a little hard and they just filled my head back up with the reading.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
like, oh, you're
That's
the
really
lady.
nice because we don't remember usually our readings unless we write them down right away or have them
Right.
videotaped or whatever. I don't remember what I tell people.
not for
So this
Yeah.
very
is
long.
unusual.
Yeah. So they just like
Brilliant.
filled it back up in my head. And I'm like, okay, wow. And I
That's
described the
neat.
reading and she said, yep, that was me. And I'm like, she says, I want you to read my husband and my dad this time.
Oh my God.
So it was so cool. So I got to read her. So dad again, I read dad second. Dad was so easy. So I'm not going to talk about what dad said.
Okay, that's
Dad was
fine.
easy peasy. Her husband came in easy peasy, really fast. He's a super good communicator. And the first thing I heard him say, because I just have to repeat what they say, or, I
Mhm.
just can't like make it up or try to make it softer or whatever he said. Oh, darling, I was a horse's ass. And I'm like, okay, really? You want to lead with that? You know? And he's like,
That's probably just what she needed to hear.
she actually did. And she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for that. And he said, I am so sorry for being such a horse's ass, for making your life harder than it needed to be. Now, the other thing I should tell you, they really love each other. He
Sure,
loves her so much. She
sure.
also loves him. She says he's like her soulmate.
I
He
understand.
still was a so horse's ass, though, okay? Um,
Yeah,
and so they got to talking. He apologized so much, and he was like, I really didn't always know what was going on. I didn't realize how valuable our time was together. He just really was such a good
that's
communicator,
nice.
a good reader. And then he paused me and he said, let her ask some questions. And I'm like, okay, do you have any questions? Oh, she did. She's like, do you like how I remodeled the front room?
I love it.
And he said, I do, dear. I do like that. And he said, it's very nice. And he was showing me like a fireplace wall that she had redone. And he said, I'm glad you're very proud of yourself for doing that because I don't want to mislead you at all. If I were alive, I wouldn't have let you done it because I was a horse's ass.
Oh, that
He
is
said
so
horse's ass a
cute.
lot.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
it was gorgeous. and you should have always been able to do that. And she said, well, what do you like? How do you like the backyard? And he showed me all the bird feeders she put in and stuff and how much he liked it. And then she said, do you like where I spread your ashes? Okay, now this is about the time then Terry's like, oh God,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a little harder. This is a bigger test. And I'm like, okay. And he showed me a little wooden box like on an end table. And I thought, is that it? Did you put him in a little wooden box on your end table? And she's like, no. And I said, well, just tell me where you spread him. And they have woods out back, and she spread him in the woods.
Oh,
And
that's
so I
nice.
asked him, did you like that? And he's like, yes, I like that. I like anything she wants to do. And I would like to go through another life with her.
Oh.
That's about the time she got a little worried look on her face. Like, I'm not sure I'm gonna go with the horse's
You're not
ass
going to
again.
come back with you?
Yeah. But he assured her, he said, we don't have to be husband and wife. I just want to be with you. I can be, your uncle, your brother, or somebody else, or even a woman. I don't care. I just
I
want to
think
be
that's
with
a
you.
discussion to be had when they're both on the other side.
Right. So she didn't answer. She didn't answer.
He was like,
She looked.
no, I don't
She,
think so, honey.
I think it was way too soon.
Once you
Way
become a caretaker of somebody like that for quite a while, the last thing you want to think of is being a caretaker again, because I was there. I loved, adored my husband, and I didn't resent 1 minute of taking care of him when he was ill. But do I want it again? Do it again? Hell no. Hell to the no. It's exhausting
Right.
mentally, physically, spiritually, and it
Yes.
takes a lot of community to keep you sane.
Right.
I was lucky I had Heather.
Right.
Can I tell you a funny story about ashes? And I know this is your show, but
Go ahead. We got a little bit of time, and then I'm going to tell you what happened.
oh, you didn't finish. I'm so
Oh, I'm
sorry.
not done. But
Okay.
if you want to talk about ashes first, that's okay.
Ashes, my husband, when I first moved to Key West, I got a paper mache turtle to put my husband's ashes in to send out to sea because he loved the ocean. He loved fishing. He was really into all of that. Well, not only did I have his ashes, but I had a cat and a dog from England that we had been holding on to for 20 years and another dog. So there were 2 dogs and a cat to go in the into the turtle. It didn't all fit.
Yes, it did. I gotta go
No,
in.
it didn't. It didn't all fit. I had a box in my
But what you
closet.
gave me to put in there, I got in.
Oh, yeah, it all fit. That part fit, but I still had some in a box in the closet. And as I'm cleaning out my house and having an estate sale and getting ready to move from Key West, I sit on the bed and I'm like, shit, what am I going to do with these ashes? And clear as a bell, throw them in the trash. I'm not there. They have nothing to do with me. Just throw them away. And I was like, seriously? He's like, I'm not there. Throw them away. So that's what I did. It seems sacrilegious, but it was like, I'm not religious. He's not there. I know he's not there. It's
Yeah.
just a bit of ash. So
Yeah.
I actually spread him in the garden of the house that he never got to live in, but
Oh.
it was basically throwing him in the trash. I couldn't quite get to the trash bucket. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, he was like,
get
throw them
that.
away. I'm not there. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with anything. So anyway, back to your story.
So after I got done reading her, I'm like, would you just stay a moment so I can ask you questions? I've been wondering all this time
All
how
these
it
years.
went. And so, because I wondered, did she go immediately to the nursing home? What did she do? And
What
she said,
happened?
I went immediately to the nursing home. And I told him, she said, I've told him this before, but, I thought maybe he can hear it now. So I told him I can no longer take care of him, that it is breaking my health down. I don't have the wherewithal to do it anymore. and you have plenty of money to be in any facility you want to be in, and you need to find some place to go. I will come and visit you every day. I'll bring you your favorite foods. I'll do any of that, but I cannot be the one physically taking care of you.
Understandable.
And then she went home. And then the next day at about 11 o'clock, he knocks on the door. He Ubered home. So from the facility, he checked himself out. He got an Uber and he went home. And so she greeted him and, talked to him, went about her day doing stuff. And then she said about 2 o'clock, he said, "Dear, won't you make me a sandwich? I need something to eat now." And she said, "No." Spirit put the words in her mouth. So this is the thing I didn't understand, that the healing was both ways. It was for both of them, I thought it was just towards him. It was for both of them.
Sure.
And she said, "No, dear, I cannot make you a sandwich. I cannot take care of you anymore. I will die if I have to do that."
Wow.
And so he had to get himself up and go make himself a sandwich. And she said, by 3 days, he already found a new place.
Wow.
He did his own calling around, and he found the place that he wanted to go, and he went there, and that's where he stayed the rest of his life. And he didn't have to be there too long, actually. And
Wow.
she went and saw him and took care, did the caring things, but she had recognized, especially when he went this time, that his health was not going to spring back. This was not, he was really, really very, very sick.
He was ill, seriously ill.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so it was so amazing to hear that it did exactly what the angel said it would do. I mean, of course, I thought she'd go there, tell him, and he'd say, "Yes, dear."
Yeah, yeah.
Not Uber home.
Uber home, yeah.
And what I'm also amazed at is how much they care about us, how much they care about that woman not, dying before him, trying to take care of him.
Well, it's our family on the other side. Our family on the other side's looking out for us just like
yeah. And then
would here, I think.
Yeah. And then the other thing I learned that was interesting is that the people I am reading don't remember the reading like I remember the reading. Because, I mean, the biggest thing about that reading to me was the angel showing up with the green drop of liquid.
Right, sure.
I almost didn't remember that part. It was she was more happy talking to her dad, and so, really.
Well, it wasn't your reading. That's why, yeah. Okay, that makes sense, I suppose, for her. We each get whatever out of it.
Yeah.
Different things. Yeah.
It was so cool to hear the rest of it. I mean, from time to time we get feedback,
Yeah,
but sometimes
sure.
we don't get to hear the really, really,
Really
fascinating things. We don't always get to hear about what happened. And I always make sure now at these booths to give them my card and say, please, even if it's years later, tell me the outcome. Yes, shoot me an email and tell me what happened.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I give out cards too. Please, please let me know.
Yeah, because it's so fascinating what they're doing.
Yeah, I feel so blessed the things that we get to witness with what we do. The love that we get to share. They may not feel it, but we're feeling it from the other side. And I always feel like that's really a gift for us.
Right.
As well as their healing, it's a gift for us.
I feel like when somebody asks for a reading, it's not just for them. That we both get different things from them. So
right. Oh my God, the hour's up. I didn't realize.
But I thought I want to hear from you and see you guys too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Everybody in the chat, thanks for being here. If you have any questions, let us know. We really appreciate it. And Terri, your stories just amuse me, amaze me, and make me just so happy to be part of a spiritual community. It's just
Because
we
we
live
all
extraordinary lives.
Well,
and,
I
and we
love,
all have, I was going to say, we all have different experiences. And so what is normal for you is something we don't experience. Of course, we experience stuff that you don't experience. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
But it's always
it's
fascinating to see
great
the
for everybody.
Diane G says, thank you for your stories. And Beltane says, love coming here. And Leah says, we're honored to be with you three. Oh, we're the honored ones. Thank you all for
Yes,
being
thank
here.
you for coming.
Yeah.
It's and Lauren. She says, thank you, ladies. It's always so fascinating when you all are all together. I know we enjoy each other's company and each other's stories. And
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, everything's new to us too because we all do things differently.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I really do love about our community. Like, Sun Psychic Jean and all of us, we all have different clairs.
Mhm.
And so it makes the readings very interesting. And I also love, love, love it when they sometimes give me a little what I call the secret sauce of the universe. Like when they show me something, it's like, wow, that's how that works.
Yeah. Maybe you
Well,
should
that's
do a show on those type of things that you've seen.
Well, but the
Hey,
but the
Ruby Red. Hi, Elizabeth.
if you think about it, the diversity of all of us, that's what makes Monday's show so important.
Woo Woo Stew. Oh, yeah. Woo Woo Stew. That's us Monday.
That's
Wisdom
us,
circles on
especially
Monday.
when
And
you're
Terry's going to
sisters.
talk about the different things you can do with the Akashic Records.
Right.
And healing with the Akashic Records is one of my favorite things, to clear
Yeah.
things and heal
There's
things.
they've given me a few new things to do with it.
Oh, I'm excited.
Good.
Boy, am I
Fantastic.
excited I have a session with you coming up too. Woo-hoo! That's gonna be that'll be some woo-woo stew, Leah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stories are fascinating. I really love those. So thank you so much for being here. And I know we get you one more time before you go to
Japan.
Japan.
Yep.
I think April 1st. So she'll be back with more stories, I hope, or whatever we just have to do
No
that night.
April Fools.
Right.
No,
No April Fools.
no April Fools. So, and then Heather is going to be doing, Monday, we have the Wisdom Circle with Terri and Terri Lee, Pure Visionary Psychic Medium, Wisdom Seeker Joan, and Sun Psychic Jean. Is that everybody? Did I get everybody?
I think
Hey,
that's
we all
it.
get together once a month, and each month one of us has a subject. And this coming in March is Lucky Terri Suzuki. So, and then on Tuesday, Heather's going to remote view
Inner Earth.
Inner Earth.
Ooh,
Brain just fries.
interesting.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
only let you see so much of it anyway, but I still ended up with 2 more pages of stuff than I normally do. So
Ooh, I'm excited. That sounds good. One quick last question. Leah says, do Japanese people get as many readings as Western folks?
The Japanese psychic mediums read differently than we do. They're more like fortune tellers, and so it's a different thing. They actually do like how we do this. They some people who can speak Japanese better than I can have do get readings there and do pretty well. They would prefer to talk to us because we give messages, not
Mhm.
just your fortune, because fortune is fickle. So
It
anyway,
certainly is. It's
I
very fickle.
I am working on that right now. I don't read when I'm in Japan. I bought an old house. I bought an Akia, and I'm fixing it up
She's
to rent it
busy.
out. And but my
Her passion
overarching
is
goal,
building things. So Terry's other passion is building stuff. So she's redoing this
yeah,
old house.
yeah, I love doing that sort of thing. But my one of my goals over there is to uh, hold a little fair and read people there. And so I have found a place to hold it for free.
Wow.
And I need a translator now.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll figure. I think they'll send me a translator. I've been asking my guides to do that, and then I will be able to read there and just maybe hold some sessions.
Oh, that sounds good. Well, we'll have to see what happens when you come back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you guys. I guess we'll see you Monday, Tuesday, hopefully. Join us then. It's always, well, the Wisdom Circle's 4 Eastern. That's right. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And our normal shows are at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. Oh, I got that out. Yay.
I know. We're all getting
Good
kind of good on
job.
Anyway, good night, you guys. We love you. Go out and shine your
Good night,
light.
everybody.
We love you. Take care.